Hello and welcome to Computer Class. My name is Dave, and today we're talking about how to install Windows 10 on your computer. So step number one for installing operating systems is pretty simple. Make sure that you back up the files on your hard drive of the computer you install the operating system on. Now, if this is a computer that you just created, such as a gaming PC, and the hard drive is completely blank because it's the first time that you are putting an operating system on, then you obviously don't have to do that. But if this is a PC that you are uh, reinstalling Windows 10 on, then you want to make sure you back up your pictures, your documents, and your videos, and your music and everything, because it will completely and positively wipe the system and destroy any of that content. So that's step number one. Step number two is get yourself a flash drive, and I recommend a high-speed flash drive. This is something from Patriot Memory, and Patriot makes high-speed flash drives. This one's called the Rage. It's 32 gigs, and it's the faster the flash drive, the faster this process is going to go. And also, I recommend that you plug it into the fastest USB port on your computer, whatever that may be. Once you have the flash drive plugged into a USB port on your computer, you're going to navigate to the folder, and then you're going to click on this PC, and you're going to see your hard drives that are plugged in or your storage media. You don't want to touch the C drive, and I have another drive that's plugged in, so that's why there's a D drive here. It doesn't really matter what letter comes up here for this, but verify that this is in fact your flash drive. A lot of times it will be named the name of the company that makes flash drive, for instance, like ScanDisk or PNY is another company. Mine happens to be by Patriot, so it's called Rage. Whatever it is, it could be named anything. You can rename flash drives, so you can right click and rename them. Just make sure it's your flash drive before you do this. And then you right click and you hit Format, and it gives you the ability to name the volume. So make sure you've named it whatever you want to name it. I'm going to call it Rage again, and then make sure you check the quick format. And what this is going to do before we do this step is it's going to completely wipe your flash drive. So again, make sure you don't have any important data on the flash drive. So again, important data needs to be completely off the system. I cannot emphasize that enough. And I'm going to hit start. It says it's going to erase everything on the flash drive, and it's pretty quick, and it wipes that device. Okay, so once this is wiped, then we want to go to Google, and we want to Google Media Creation Tool. Okay, and it's usually the first thing that comes up in Google, but if it doesn't come up, I'm going to link that link down in the description. You check that out, and you have two options here. You have the option to update your system, which we don't need to do. And you also have the option to create a Windows 10 installation media, and you click the download now button, and it starts downloading the media creation tool. What I did was I simply just dragged that to the corner here and dropped it onto my desktop, and then double click and open it. And it says, do you want this app to make changes to your system? And you say yes, and it goes through this process of kind of pulling up the software and gets some things ready for you to be able to install onto your flash drive. Now, when we install the operating system onto this flash drive, it will be known as a Windows boot drive. And what we need to do is we need to plug it into the target computer and boot it up and then install the operating system. So what it does is it asks you to accept the license agreement, which if you have time to read that and want to go through that, go for it by all means, but it's like a million pages long, so I don't read it. But anyway, it then goes through another process of getting things ready, and we'll come up with a few options for you to select when it finally boots up here. So I'll give it a few seconds, and there we go. All right, now it gives us two options. It says upgrade this PC now or create an installation media USB flash drive for another PC. Obviously, you could use a DVD or something else, but I'm going to use a flash drive. So I'm going to click the create the USB installation media, hit next. It's going to give the options to use the recommended ones for this PC. I would always recommend using English, assuming that's your language, Windows 10 and 64-bit as a starting out, because 32 is just gone. So you need to use 64-bit. All right, and then if you want to install Windows 10 in another partition, you need to create something, but we don't want to do that. We want to use a USB flash drive. Look, it says it needs to be at least 8 gigs. I said probably 16 is best, but apparently they're recommending 8. Next, I'm going to, you can always refresh the drive if you forgot to plug it in. Make sure you have it plugged in. Would you click your drive, and then you press next, and then it's going to go through the process of downloading Windows 10, which, eh, depending on your internet, can take a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this video play, and we will speed this up through the power of editing because it is going to take a very long time for it to finish. All right, as you probably saw, over the few minutes that you've been waiting, is that first of all, the storage media will be uh, will be downloaded. They'll download Windows 10, and then it will copy the files to the actual flash drive. And now it says your USB flash drive is ready. So once it's ready, you click the finish button, and it goes through a quick couple seconds of cleanup there. And then what you can do is you go down to the little arrow feature here, right click on the safety remove hardware, and eject your Patriot memory flash drive. And then you can pull it out of your computer, and I'm going to switch over to my other camera and show you how to actually install it into a laptop. So I'll see you there in a second. Alright, so now we are at my laptop, and here is the USB flash drive that I just created, the boot drive. I'm going to shove it into the side of my computer right there before I turn on my computer. My computer's powered off at the moment. And then you need to find out what your hotkey or F key is to get into BIOS. Now you have F1 through 12, and usually typical machines will utilize things like F10, F8, F12, those ones, but you're going to have to boot up potentially your machine a couple times and figure out which F key gets you into the BIOS. For me, it is F9, I believe. So I'm going to press power, and then I'm going to tap on F9 continuously. And notice it's going to boot me into the screen that says select a drive for your boot options. So what I'm going to do is I am going to click on the Patriot memory, which is my hard drive, and give it a second. It is going to do its best to boot to this flash drive right here on my computer. All right, once it comes up, it's going to say that you need to pick your English. So I'm going to come down here and press next. And then I'm going to hit install now on Windows 10. Now, this process could take a little bit for the starting up and the setup part, but something that should be noted is that there is a 25-digit key that you need to have to install to activate Windows, and it's going to pop up now. I'm going to click I don't have a product key, and the reason for that is in my motherboard, because this computer is a laptop, it automatically has the product key and it will automatically activate. However, if you are doing something like a gaming PC, you will have to have a product key to insert because it won't just automatically activate. Okay, so I'm going to hit I don't have a product key and skip that. Go to the next step here, and I'm going to click on Windows 10 Pro because that's the version I'm using. And I would recommend that if you're installing this on some sort of a computer where you're going to do a lot of things, such as a gaming computer or editing machine, you would use Windows 10. It just has a lot of benefits. All right, accept the licensing terms. Press next. And then I'm going to hit the custom installation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these partitions and I'm going to delete them. And this is not typically what people do, but this is what I do to make sure everything gets fully deleted and there isn't extra partitions. You would only have to do this, you wouldn't necessarily have to do this on a system that has a brand new hard drive. And then I press new and give myself a new partition. And there we go. You can press next. And it will go through the process of creating a Windows 10 computer.
and install the operation files for the operating system. All right, it looks like Windows 10 is finishing up, and notice it's getting to this section where it says restart, and it's closing down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 type of deal. What you want to do is when the screen goes black, you want to pull the flash drive out of your computer like that, because it is trying to reboot to the hard drive, and you don't want it to reboot to this flash drive. You want it to just reboot to the hard drive where you just installed the operating system. So now it's coming up for the first time in the OS that you installed on this computer. So we'll give it a second, and then it will boot up, hopefully, and we'll be able to put in the first user on this computer. Now I do love how it says just a moment, because it literally took forever, but whatever. So now you can pick your language again and your region. Let's press yes. Keyboard layout should be US. I do not want to add a second layout, so I'm going to hit skip. And you can connect to your router. I'm going to hit I don't have internet. Past that, I'm going to hit continue with limited setup. And then we're giving this PC its first user. So I'm just going to call it your mom. Actually, we do all lowercase on that. Next. Super memorable password. And you make it secure. I'm just putting your mom. Your mom. And you put in your security questions. Whatever you want to put. There's 3 here to pick from. I'm just putting in default things. And again, when we get to this page, what I usually do is I check all of these off. There's no need to share your location with Microsoft. There's no need to allow all of these things to be going on, advertising and stuff, or tailoring the experience. It's just going to allow Microsoft to use you and do things with your information. So I always turn those off. And then I accept using Cortana because it's super helpful. And then it says hi and allows you to get into your user within the operating system. Now what it's doing right now is it's copying all of the files for that user to create the user. So it'll be creating things like the documents and music and video folder and everything for that user at this moment. So we'll come back when it allows us to log in. All right, and there you have it. Windows 10 is successfully installed and everything is working. All we have to do is connect it to the internet and download our software, and then we will be good to go. So hopefully you enjoyed seeing this video. Hopefully you've liked and subscribed. And as always, I will see you in the next video.